What if you guys had a connection that was so strong that you could read each other's mind without even knowing it? Well, I'm going to show you how right now. I want to try a little bit of mystery and magic. We're going to put them together by using a deck of cards. So I'm going to take this deck of cards, and Jeremiah, I'm going to have you hold the deck. Actually put it behind your back. So you got the cards face down. I want you to shuffle them while they're behind your back. So just put a couple of cards to the bottom, and whenever you feel comfortable, you can stop. All right, so while he's shuffling, I'm going to then hand the cards to you when he's done. You're going to turn the cards face up behind your back, and then you're going to do the exact same thing. Keep them right behind your back, though. Keep them behind your back. Now, we have no idea what cards you stopped at, and here's what we're going to do. I actually have a Sharpie. You're going to take this Sharpie, and behind your back, you're going to put an X on the card. Just try it the best you can. Try to put an X across the card. Okay, good? All right, shuffle it up a little bit so then we don't know what that card is.
Nova, come here.
All right, shuffling it up. Good, good, good. Okay, I'll take the deck. Good, and then you're gonna turn them upside down, turn them face up behind your back, and then you're gonna shuffle it. All right, good. Okay, awesome. Now I don't want him to see where you make your mark here. Step this way, turn this way just a little bit, just so we can't see. And here I'm gonna give you this Sharpie, and I want you to make an X across whatever card's on top right now. Try to make it as big as you can on there. Good. I know it's tough, it's weird, right? But that's okay, as long as you make some type of X on there. You probably did better than what you think. So try to shuffle it up now so we don't know what that card is. Good. All right, so now that you have it shuffled, so what happened is you put it behind your back, the cards are face down, you shuffled it, you put an X on the back of one of the cards and shuffled it. I then gave it to Imani here. She turned it face up, behind her back, she shuffled it, put an X, and then shuffled it some more, right? All right, so I'm gonna take the cards, and here's what I'm gonna do, all right? I'm gonna pull out your card, whatever card you put an X on. So we're gonna go through it just like this. You see the cards? Watch, we're gonna go through these cards, and we're gonna pull out a card here. You hold some of these, okay? Wait, Nova, come back. Here you take some more of these. Okay, thank you. And we're gonna keep going through, and watch this. We'll keep going through until we find the card that has an X on it. Okay, I want you to hold that against your chest, just like that. Perfect, so that's your card that has an X on it. And then now we're gonna turn them over, and let's see if we can find Imani's card that has an X on it. Let's see. Nova, maybe you have it. Let's see. I don't see. Did you see it? I don't see it in here. Okay, here. Let's exchange. Here, you take these. I'll take these. You take these. Because obviously it's not on any of those. Let's see if it's on this. Any of these? I don't see it. I don't see any X's on here. You guys don't see any X's, right? No? And I don't see any on these two or these two. I don't see any X's. Wait a second. Wouldn't it be quite a mystery if both of you put an X on the same card? Let me see this card. Let's see, it's an X on the back. Let me see. Oh, wow. That's amazing. I think it's because you guys are brother and sister. I think it's just, that's a weird mystery there. So you're gonna need 3 items. You're gonna need a dried out Sharpie. You're gonna need a Sharpie that is not dried out, that actually works. And you're gonna need a deck of cards. So once you have those 3 items, let's get into the explanation. Now you're only gonna need the Sharpie that works for the setup of this effect. So you're gonna take the Sharpie that works. You can choose any card that you like, and you're just gonna place an X across the back. Try to make it so that it's not kind of right. And I'll explain why you're gonna make the X sort of look messed up in just a moment. And then you're gonna flip this card over, just like so, and you're gonna draw X on the front, and you can even make it smaller, okay? You can make some marks, and you wanna place the X on the card just like that. And then you wanna let this card dry, and once this card is dried, we can move on to the next part. So as I explained, you're going to take the Sharpie and draw the X on both sides of a playing card. It doesn't matter which card it is. Any card that you choose, if you have a specific routine where you want to force a specific card, then you can choose that card. But really, it's just making sure that you put an X on both sides of the same card. So I've chosen the 10 of spades. There's an X on this side, and there's also an X on this side. You'll notice that the X is not perfect. It's kind of weird on both sides. One looks better than the other because your spectators are going to be drawing an X on these cards behind their backs. So in order for that to happen, they're actually going to have to feel where the card is and try to draw an X on it, and most likely they will not draw a perfect X. Okay, so once you have this done, let's move on to the next step. Now that we've marked our card, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take this card, lose it somewhere in the middle of the pack. At this point, you're going to walk up to the spectator, hand this to one spectator face down, have them place the cards behind their back. You're then going to ask them to shuffle these cards while they are behind their back. Okay, so they will not see these cards being shuffled behind their back. They will not know that there's a card that already has an X on it. And then when they feel comfortable with the shuffle, you'll tell them to stop. At that point in time, you're going to give them the dried out Sharpie. And you're going to say, while holding the deck behind your back, I want you to take this Sharpie and try to place an X on the back of the card that's on top. All right, keep the deck face down and just try to place an X on top. They're going to take this Sharpie and draw an X, and you'll notice that this does not write. So when they go to draw this X, it doesn't write, okay, because it's a dried out Sharpie. So therefore, they don't make an X, but they believe they do. Then after they finish making an X, you're going to take the Sharpie back, and then you're going to tell them to shuffle the cards. They'll then shuffle the cards some more, and then they will bring the cards out to you. Now, there may be a chance, and here's a little tip here, there may be a chance that when they bring the cards out, that card with the X is sitting right on top. If that's the case, you say, the card you made an X on is right on top. Let's give it a few more shuffles. So then you can actually go ahead and shuffle it to make sure you get rid of that card, that X card. Now, after you do the first spectator, they put this behind their back with the deck face down, they placed an X on it. You're going to give it to a second spectator, and you're going to flip the deck face up when you hand it to them. So you're going to hand it to them face up, and they're going to do the exact same thing. They're going to put this deck behind their back. They're going to shuffle it a few times. You're going to give them the dried out Sharpie. You're going to tell them to draw an X. As you notice, the Sharpie does not write because it is dried out. They don't know this. And so after they draw their X, you take the Sharpie back from them and you have them shuffle the deck. Now, after they finish shuffling the deck, once again, they're going to bring the cards from behind their backs and hand them to you. Once they hand the cards to you, you are going to turn the cards back face down, and you can say the following. You know, life is about coincidences, or you can talk about them being brother and sister. You can talk about them being best friends, whatever their connection is. So you want to develop some type of connection between the two spectators that you're using. Hey, you guys must know each other really well, because I believe that you guys are synced mentally because of how well you know each other. So if it's brother and sister, it's a lot easier to play. If it is a family member, it's a lot easier to come across and say something like that. If they are just friends, you want to kind of understand their friendship. Did they just meet? Have they been friends for a long time? And then you can kind of talk about the information that they give you. And when they do, you're going to hand this back to spectator one, the first person you gave it to with the deck face down. And you're going to tell them, okay, without anyone else seeing, I want you to go through this deck, find the card with the X on it, and don't look at the face of it. Just hold it in your hand in a sandwich. So they're going to find the card with the X on it, and you're going to tell them just to place the card in their hand in a sandwich, just like this. Once they find it, place it in their hand and close up without looking at the face. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to go through this deck just like this, and they're going to look for the card that has the X on it. And once they find the card that has the X on it, they're going to take it out, and they're going to place it on their hand just like this. And you're going to say, okay, I'm going to take the rest of the deck. You keep that card in your hand just like that. And then you're going to flip the deck face up, and you're going to hand it back to the second spectator, and they are going to look for their card with an X. Now, as they're going through, you're going to say, this is one of the most amazing things. You're not going to believe this, but something strange has happened. So you can say that while they're going through. And they're going to keep going through and they're going to say, wait, I don't see my card. And you say, I know. Something strange just happened. I felt it. You guys are connected mentally and physically because somehow out of all these cards inside the deck, you both happen to put an X on the exact same card. And at that moment, the person who's holding the card just like this is going to want to take their hands off. You have them take their hands off and you say, wait, before you turn it over, I want you guys to look at this really closely. There's no way, it's impossible for you guys to have put the X on the same card. But I believe that you guys are so close together that there's an X on the back and an X on the front. Wow, you guys are really connected. And you can end the routine right there. All right, guys, so that was the explanation of the Super X card trick. Make sure that you guys really dry out this Sharpie. And after you dry it out, leave this cap off for days. When it's time to perform, you can just put the cap on there right before performance just to show that it's covered. But if I were you, I would just leave this out. I would not put a cap on top of this dried out Sharpie. So that's just a tip as far as how to reserve that dried out Sharpie. And other than that, make sure that you guys subscribe. Be sure to hit that bell. We're gonna give you a Fool Your Friend trick every Wednesday. I wanna thank you guys for stopping by and sticking around for the explanation, and I'll see you guys next week. Before you go, here's an unusual thought I'd like to leave you with. Do you think they call it sand because it's between the sea and land? Yeah, that's an unusual thought.